You know that colleague of yours who keeps posting photos on rented yachts? Well, darling, real old money does not need to prove anything. And today, I am going to teach you exactly how they live, so you can stop looking like a desperate nouveau riche and start acting like someone who truly belongs to the millionaire club. Oh, and before you ask, yes, I learned all of this by strategically marrying Mr. Millionaire. But you can learn it too, even if you made the mistake of marrying a poor man. There is still time to fix it, my love. I am Duchess Dollars, and today, we are going to talk about something that separates those who were born rich from those who are pretending to be rich on the internet. Travel. Forget Cancun, think Switzerland. Let us talk about travel, because I know you have been saving for 2 years to go to Miami. Old money does not go to Miami to shop. Old money has a house in Miami, and in Paris, and in London, and probably somewhere in Switzerland whose name you cannot even pronounce. They do not travel, darling. They migrate. Like migratory birds, except with private jets and carrying real Louis Vuitton luggage, not those replicas you bought in Chinatown. Winter in Switzerland skiing in St. Moritz. Spring in Paris attending art auctions. Summer in the Hamptons or the French Riviera. Fall in New York closing deals on Wall Street. It is a cycle, my love. A cycle that has repeated for generations. You know what my dream purchase was when I was 15 years old? A Nokia phone. A Nokia. I begged, I dreamed, I never got it. Today I have 3 iPhones and I cannot even remember the password for one of them. But the difference is that I learned it is not about having things. It is about having access. Old money does not need to buy the hotel in Paris. They know the owner of the hotel in Paris. They do not reserve a table at the Michelin-starred restaurant. They call the chef directly because they have been friends for 30 years. Education and culture, or why you need to stop watching Netflix. Now we get to the part that is going to hurt. Culture. You think you are cultured because you binge-watched Bridgerton? How cute. Old money is at the opera in Milan watching Puccini live. And no, it is not because they love opera. Half of them hate it. But they go because that is where business happens. That is where the right families meet. That is where you ensure your daughter marries the bank owner's son. I grew up thinking I had culture because I attended private school. But my darling, I had a backpack that I used for years. Years! While my classmates changed binders every semester and carried little Louis Vuitton bags at 15 years old. You know what I learned? That real culture is not about having watched every Netflix series. It is about knowing how to play piano, understanding rare wines, recognizing a Monet from 15 feet away, and being able to maintain an interesting conversation at a 3-hour dinner without mentioning reality TV even once. Old money has home libraries with first editions of books you will never read. They play chess, bridge, and other games that require you to use your brain instead of scrolling on TikTok. And you know what is funniest? While you are spending $50 at the movie theater, they are financing the entire museum. Because, my love, when you are truly rich, you do not consume culture. You create culture. Exclusive clubs. No, your condo club does not count. Let us talk about clubs because I know you think that country club membership at your local golf course makes you part of the elite. Old money has clubs where the waiting list has a waiting list. I am talking about places where your money does not matter, where you can have $10 million in the bank and still be refused because your grandfather was not a member. In America, we have clubs like this. I will not name names because otherwise you will all try to infiltrate and it will become a mess. But there are golf clubs, tennis clubs, yacht clubs where you only get in if you are invited, and 3 generations of your family were already members. And you know what happens at these clubs? Business, my love. Business. While the husbands are on the golf course closing million-dollar deals, the wives are at the spa arranging marriages between families. I myself am a member of 2 exclusive clubs here in America. It was not easy to get in, even being married to Mr. Millionaire. I had to prove that I was not just another gold digger. I had to show that I understood the rules, that I knew how to dress, how to behave, and most importantly, how to stay quiet when important men are talking. Yes, my darling. Sometimes being rich means swallowing your feminism and letting men think they are in control. But do not worry, because afterwards you go home in your $500,000 car and they go home in an Uber. Hunting and equestrian sports because poor people go to the mall. Now let us talk about hobbies because I know your hobby is scrolling Instagram dreaming about the life you do not have. Old money does not go to the mall, darling. They go hunting. And no, I am not talking about hunting for sales on Black Friday. I am talking about wearing imported tweed outfits, riding horses that cost more than a house, and spending the day in the countryside with other wealthy families deciding the economic future of the country. You know that family gathering you have on Sunday at your aunt's house where everyone argues about football and eats barbecue? Old money has that too. Except instead of barbecue, they have game banquets. And instead of discussing football, they are discussing which company to buy next week. And equestrian sports, my love? It is not just horseback riding. It is an RT. It is discipline, it is control, it is elegance. Things you do not learn by financing sneakers on your credit card. I myself have horseback riding lessons 3 times a week. Mr. Millionaire thinks it is just a hobby, but actually I am infiltrating the circles of the truly wealthy. Because, darling, while you are at the gym doing CrossFit with your broke friends, I am at the stables networking with people who have their last name on an avenue. Financial education, because you still have not understood anything. Now we get to the truth, and I am going to say something that will hurt. You are not poor because you did not have opportunities. You are poor because you do not have financial education. I grew up middle class. My father was a government employee. My mother had a small catering business. We did not go hungry, but we also did not have luxury. And that drove me crazy. While my wealthy classmates traveled through Europe during vacations, I stayed home watching TV. While they changed phones every year, I prayed mine would not break. While they had designer backpacks, I used the same backpack for years. And you know what I did? I studied. Obsessively. I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and it changed my life. I devoured everything about investments. I started investing, made epic mistakes, lost $5,000 the first time because I did not know what I was doing. But I did not give up. I continued. Worked Monday through Friday and did freelance work on weekends. Cut all unnecessary expenses. Stopped going out. Sold clothes on Instagram. Saved every penny. My friends thought I had gone crazy. And then, when I had my first $100,000 invested, I started attending investor events. And it was at one of those events that I met Mr. Millionaire. It was not love at first sight, my darling. It was strategy at first sight. He had wealth, financial education, ambition. I had youth, determination, and was already on the right path. We made a perfect partnership. Today I am 35 years old, looking 20, obviously, and I live in a mansion. But I have not stopped studying. I still read about financial markets, follow economic trends, seek opportunities. Because, my love, you can marry a millionaire. But if you do not know how to maintain the money, you will end up poor again. And then you will have to go back to that poor boyfriend you left, and he will not even want you anymore. The difference between old money and you. Let us start with the basics, because I know some of you are still financing rice in 6 installments at the grocery store. Old money, my darling, is not about having money. It is about having had money for generations. While you are buying designer bags financed in 12 installments on your credit card to impress your Instagram friends, old money families are playing polo. Playing polo, darling. Do you know what polo is? It is like soccer, but on horseback, with expensive clothes, and where nobody sweats because sweating is for poor people. And you know what the great irony is? While you are spending your entire salary on a Louis Vuitton bag to look rich, the heiress to a centuries-old fortune is using a discreet bag you would not even recognize on the street. Because, my love, when you are truly rich, you do not need to prove it to anyone. I learned this the hard way. Remember I told you that when I was a teenager, I begged my grandmother to give me gel pens for my birthday? Well, today I have a collection of Mont Blanc pens that cost more than your poor boyfriend's economy car. And you know what is most delicious? I do not even post photos of them on Instagram. Now, before we continue, I need to tell you about something that changed the game for me when I was still climbing the ladder. You can have money in the bank, but if you do not look like you belong, doors will not open. And that is exactly what the Look Rich Without Spending Much course teaches. This is not my course. I am recommending it because it genuinely works. This course decodes the visual language, the behavioral codes, and the social rules that wealthy women follow instinctively. The things nobody teaches you unless you were born into it. How to dress with that effortless elegance. How to carry yourself in a room full of millionaires. How to be perceived as someone who belongs at the table, not someone begging for a seat. Right now, the course is at a special launch price because lessons are being released gradually. Once the full course is complete, the price goes up to full value with no discount. This is your window. If you are serious about transforming not just your wardrobe, but how the world perceives and treats you, this is it. This is the difference between being dismissed and being taken seriously, between being seen as an outsider and being welcomed as an equal. The link is in the description. Do not wait until it is too late and you are paying double. Philanthropy? How to be rich and still seem like a good person. Now let us talk about something that will blow your mind. Philanthropy. You think rich people are stingy? Well, my darling, you are wrong. Rich people are not stingy. Rich people are strategic. Old money donates millions to museums, universities, operas, hospitals. But it is not because they are kind. It is because, my love, when you donate $10 million to a university, they put your name on the building. Your name stays there forever. Your great-grandchildren will study in a building with the family name. It is genius, is it not? You spend money, but you are actually buying immortality. And there is more. Those charity gala events, the ones where women wear $100,000 gowns and men wear tuxedos. It is not about charity, darling. It is about networking. It is about being seen donating. It is about making sure everyone knows you are rich and generous. I myself organize 3 charity events per year. We raise millions for noble causes. And you know what I get from it? Access. Access to people richer than me, more influential than me, more powerful than me. Because, my love, when you are organizing an event where tickets cost $50,000 each, you are not helping the poor. You are doing business with the rich. The old money rules you need to follow. Now let us get to what matters. The rules. Because I know you are here wanting the magic formula. Rule 1. Silence is golden. Old money does not talk about money. If you need to say you are rich, you are not rich. Period. Rule 2. Quality, not quantity. It is better to have one classic $20,000 bag that will last 20 years than 10 $2,000 bags that will fall apart in 6 months. Invest in pieces, not in trends. Rule 3. Education is everything. I am not talking about diplomas. I am talking about culture. Learn about art, music, wines, literature, because you can fool poor people with expensive clothes, but you cannot fool rich people without intelligent conversation. Rule 4. Networking is more important than money. Knowing the right people is worth more than having $1 million in the bank. Frequent the right places. Participate in the right events. Be seen with the right people. Rule 5. Marry well. I never tire of saying, do not marry a poor man. Do not do charity in your relationship. If he splits the bill with you, my love, you do not have a boyfriend. You have a roommate who still kisses you. Rule 6. Appearance matters. Yes, it is superficial. Yes, it is unfair. And yes, it is reality. Invest in skincare, personal trainer, dentist, dermatologist. Because, darling, beauty opens doors that your degree does not open. Rule 7. Patience. Old money thinks in generations, not months. They plant trees that will only bear fruit in 50 years. You need to stop wanting instant results and start building an empire. Art and culture. Continued. Let me add something about art collecting, because this is where old money really separates itself from the wannabes. While you are buying mass-produced prints from Target to decorate your apartment, old money is at Christie's auctions bidding on original works. They are not buying art because it matches their couch. They are buying it as an investment, as a tax strategy, and as social currency. I attend at least 4 major art events per year. Not because I particularly love standing in galleries for hours, but because that is where I meet collectors, gallery owners, and other wealthy women who understand that a Basquiat on your wall says more about you than any designer logo ever could. Look, my darling, I am going to be honest with you, the way only a true friend would be. Life is not fair. I was not born rich. You probably were not born rich either. And unfortunately, we cannot go back in time and choose to be born into the right family. But, and here's the big but, you can create your own wealth. You can learn the rules of the game. You can educate yourself, invest, network, and yes, marry strategically. When I was 15 years old, I never imagined that one day I would be here, living in a mansion with a private driver, married to a millionaire, teaching other women to do the same. Did it take time? It did. Was it easy? It was horrible. I worked like a prisoner, saved every penny, studied obsessively, made mistakes, lost money, was called materialistic by my own family. But was it worth it? My love. I cry in my private jet on the way to Europe. Of course it was worth it. So the question is, are you going to keep financing rice in 6 installments and complaining about life? Or are you going to stop being a fool, study, invest, leave that poor boyfriend who only gives you headaches and cheating, and build your wealth? The choice is yours, darling. But do not disappoint me by telling me 5 years from now that you are still in the same place. Because then the problem is not life. It is you. I am Duchess Dollars. And this was another lesson on how to leave mediocrity and enter the club of wealthy women. If you liked this video, leave your like, but only if you really liked it. Because I do not need validation from poor people. Share it with that friend of yours who needs to leave her poor boyfriend urgently. And subscribe to the channel for more doses of glamorous reality. Oh, and a special message for those in the comments saying I am materialistic, shallow, superficial. You are absolutely right. And I love being this way. See you in the next video, my darlings. And remember, it is better to be criticized in a Porsche than praised on the bus. Kiss is worth $1 million.